Well, hi there, everyone. I'm back, and today's recipe is featuring some of our beef dices. This recipe is called Swiss steak, and the Swiss doesn't refer to the country of Switzerland or even Swiss cheese. It's some people called it pepper steak. Did y'all eat Swiss steak growing up? It seems like all of my friends, their mamas made Swiss steak, and probably because it was pretty affordable. It's made from some of the toughest cuts of beef that are having, you have to put them through the Swissing machine at the butcher shop. It's a tenderizing machine, it pokes holes in it. Anyway, so traditional Swiss steak would have, of course, the beef, and then it would also have peppers and some sort of a tomato based sauce. And the signature flavor of Swiss steak is paprika. And then there's a hint of sweetness, and I'll show you that as well. So today I was just making enough Swiss steak for me at lunch. I was trying to make just one portion of it. I ended up being able to eat it for 2 days, but that is just half a cup of beef dices, and then I start putting in veggies and building the sauce and the flavor. The inspiration for this recipe comes from Miss Lori over at Whippoorwill Holler, and I just love her YouTube channel. She's probably my favorite YouTuber. She and her husband live up in the hills of Arkansas, and they have a farm, and she just has some of the best recipes. She is a former public school lunch lady, and I just enjoy her stories so much. Anyway, so she had done a recipe of Swiss steak, and it reminded me, oh my goodness, yes, I ate this growing up. It's been so long since I had Swiss steak, and I just thought, I bet I could thrive-atize that. Now, one of the great things about cooking with our beef dices is that you don't have to cook these for very long for them to be tender. So instead of cooking the Swiss steak in the oven for 2 or 3 hours, this is just going to be ready in about 30 minutes. When you're cooking with freeze-dried food, you've got to hydrate it, right? Because it has no moisture left in the can. So you reintroduce the liquid, and then once it hydrates, you can kind of treat it like just regular food that you're used to cooking with. I sauteed these vegetables up in some oil, and then I'm going to start building what will become the gravy. So I'm going to put some flour on that, and some seasonings, and also our tomato powder, which, by the way, is magical. I love our tomato powder. You can make tomato paste with it, tomato sauce, tomato juice, just depends on how much water you add. But I love our tomato powder. If you don't have it, you could just add some tomato paste here. That's one of the beauties of cooking with freeze-dried ingredients, is that it's mix and match with fresh. So if you don't have some of these in the freeze-dried form, don't worry, just use fresh or canned. Do what your family prefers. You can customize the flavors to whatever your family likes. But the paprika, you have to add the paprika or else it's not Swiss steak, okay? This is just the signature flavor of Swiss steak is paprika. And then you're just gonna need to toast that. So the taste of raw flour is not good. You want to toast that flour, and the seasonings and tomato powder, those are fat soluble, so they kind of wake up when you put them on some heat and give them some fat. That's when the flavors come alive. And it's going to stick to the bottom of your pan, but that's okay. We're just going to get that up whenever we add some liquid in there. That actually, those bits at the bottom, they actually have a name. It's called fond, F-O-N-D. I just learned that. And I think it comes from a French word, and it's like foundation. So that's the foundation of our flavor. I'm going to use beef broth, and I just have beef bouillon that I dissolve in some hot water. And whenever you add liquid to that stainless steel hot skillet, it's going to help bring up all those bits that are stuck on the bottom, all the fond. So all that flavor is going to end up in our sauce. And that flour that you put in there, that's going to make this thicken up as it cooks, and it will turn into kind of a gravy for the beef to cook in. You're going to build on that flavor, add some Worcestershire, and that right there, That is the sugar. You add just a pinch of sugar, like a teaspoon or so of sugar, and it gives the sauce a hint of sweetness. It's not a sweet sauce, but it kind of rounds out the flavor, and it's just wonderful. You can season this up with whatever you like. I use some of our Chef's Choice seasoning. That's an all-purpose seasoning, but you could do salt and pepper or whatever you prefer. And you just need to let this bubble. You let this cook for 20 to 25 minutes. Just simmer on the stove. And you're going to end up with this beautiful, thick sauce. Isn't that lovely? That is my version of Swiss steak. This is traditionally served on mashed potatoes or rice. Since I'm doing keto, I served it with cauli rice or riced cauliflower, but it is good no matter what you do with it. I'll include the full recipe in the video description below. If you know how to use it, freeze-dried food can turn into delicious dishes that your family will enjoy, things they're familiar with, flavors and textures they know and love. I really enjoy creating these recipes and sharing them with you. If you find value in my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Okay, everyone, y'all be blessed. And until next time, keep thriving.